What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo. Today we are watching the number 19 player of 2022 Laos Top 20 2022, not mirroring HLTV's list, just my own list based on my own criteria of players that I think deserve to be talked about. This year casted more CS than ever, both majors, first major ever for me. Watched a lot of these games, watched more demos than I ever have, and I want to add my input to the ring of who I think really stole the show, pushed the rounds forward, were the reason that their team won rounds, tournaments, whether the stats said so or not, whether the sample size is small or not. And so for me, this player is one who I feel like hangs and bangs with the elite oppers in the world with the least amount of experience you could possibly look to, who played on two different teams this year at two different majors and was not the reason that their team exited those majors. Played very well at both of them. Who is a guy who, given the opportunities he had, the few like on the lesser teams with not as many partners and stuff like that, showed crazy consistency throughout. And that player, it rhymes with Begster. That's right, it's Degster. Number 19 for me here on the top 20. I want to talk about Degster. The reason why it's Degster and not someone else for me, which is a big theme of this list, he's a guy who shows what it means to believe in your rotations, play committed angles, to put self-preservation second and still maintain an incredible DPR, right? Still one of the lowest dying players, but also one of the most aggressive oppers that we've seen in tier 1. So Degster is going to show us this on Ancient. Okay, I watched a few games from his old team and now OG, and we're going to talk about why I think Degster deserves a spot here in the top 20. Let's get into it. I know what you're thinking. This one's a little crazy. Degster, if it wasn't for his new team OG, he would even have blast events to play out. We wouldn't be looking at the spring final talking about Degster in the top 20. It's true. You know, very few amount of big events played here for Degster. And I think that's very fair. This one really comes down to a lot for me how good I feel like he was in the competitive landscape in a game in a very op-dominant meta with a lot of top oppers to compete with, but very few who have like elite level of impact. And Degster, in the sample size that we got with the opportunities that he had on two different teams this year, played incredibly well, in my opinion. Insanely impactful CS, was an absolute terror, and even had some very big best of 3 wins and huge upsets that he was the reason they were able to pull off. This is one versus Navi, where Navi won the rematch in the Blast Spring Final earlier this year in Lisbon. But Degster really showed his value here, coming out of Antwerp, playing on Spirit, where he did also have a good major. And one of those situations where even though he didn't play at the official major at Rio, like they didn't survive into getting to playoffs, they still, it wasn't Degster's fault. I think that's the big thing. It's like, this is going to be a story as well with some players. It's like, dude, they did literally everything they possibly could have and still lost. We're going to talk about exactly why Degster has the impact that he has. And the reason is a concept that I talk about a lot, and I've talked about a lot over the year, if you guys have been watching, and that's playing within smokes. I talk about committed rotations. I talk about how Simple is the best player in the world at doing this. Degster is somebody who just showed up and played like he was Simple, basically, this year in terms of how committed he was all the time with his different positions. And that's the reason that he gets frags, okay? The worst way to have impact at this level is to put self-preservation at the top of your priority list, sit behind smokes like we just saw happen right there, and then rotate back and forth between the most common faraway angles, and eventually get pushed out of your sight, given no good shots, and then lose. The way to have impact in pro level CS is to believe in your rotations, try to find out ways to cheat timings, get into committed spots where you think it's going to be the site that you're holding, and give yourself good fights in those spots. And the one reason that Dexter stands out, and the reason it's Dexter, and the reason that he's a guy who could break into this list, from in my opinion, is because he's somebody who does that better than most other players, most other operas in the world. And he does it with, you know, he's had Spirit and he's had OG so far this year. Not to, you know, like top 5 teams in the world, right? Very good, but largely because of him. Spirit obviously made some great moves and have found another great opera and Wonderful to survive, but to come to OG in the same year, keep his identity, keep his same kind of brashness as an individual, right? To not be scared of Simple, to still play the exact same way. I think that speaks volumes. And it's one thing to like be committed. I wanted to talk about what it means to be confident, okay? Because we talk about confident when it comes to Dexter. In Counter-Strike and on the analyst desk and when we're casting and stuff, when we say confident, we're always just saying they're being aggressive and winning duels, right? But you can totally be confident and be passive, right? You could be Rops, you could be Spinks, you could be Bit, you could be whatever. They're still confident. They take confidence. But when we talk about confidence, we're always conflating it with this idea that you have to be aggressive. That's why you're confident. You're aggressive. But if you're aggressive and you lose, you're just an idiot. If you're aggressive and you win, you're confident. Strong individual. Wow, you're a leader. And what we saw this year is that Dexter was confident and also won a lot of his duels, right? All right, there's 2 more. Okay, back turn, but no time to defuse the bomb. Let's go ahead and look for one of this confident, committed kind of positions that we'll see if it gets played. Here playing the A side solo, but he moves. Wow, he makes it look like there's 2 people, and that's confidence. Open angles, right? Deep angle, right? To give yourself an edge. And wow, look at the value he just got out of that 3K spray down versus full rifles versus Na'Vi, man. Versus Na'Vi. And he even did so much damage to the 4th guy. He gets an assist. That's confidence. That's confidence. He handled that all by himself. He did damage to all 5 players. Wow. All right, so here's another angle that Dexter loves to play behind single here on the A site. And sometimes he's holding wide, sometimes he's holding close. Teams like to walk out on this side, and he's normally really good at punishing that shoulder peek. Here, Bit plays confidently into his angle and tries to kill him with a chance with a deagle. Wouldn't do that with a rifle, of course, but just that one. We'll see if Dexter plays that more often. Playing within smokes is really key on the B side as well. Lots of powerful angles for you to be dominant in if you're here, like on this ramp, for example. Look at that swing. Egregious. But you have to be within smokes. When I say within smokes, here's what I'm talking about, okay? When the T's come, they'll smoke this out, they'll smoke this out. If you're out here, you're going to blindly shoot 3 times, run away, run back, throw a nade, spam a couple more times, and then leave and go save. If you play within smokes, well, you're not playing to live, but you're playing to win the round, right? That's the difference between you and Dexter, is he will play to win the round way more often. So the powerful thing about him is that he has an op, so self-preservation is almost encouraged sometimes, where your team is like, okay, well, we made a bad rotation, let's just save, we'll go with the next. No one's going to get mad at you. Dexter says, nah, screw that. I'm here to win. I'm here to win. I'm only score that matters is the one at the top, and I'm not giving up one of those rounds, okay? So he gets in the smokes, and that's the scary part about Dexter, because he always commits, and then he always gets the kills, and he trusts that he's in the right site, which is the other big one, right? So, all right, let's see. Looking for these fights. Notice about Dexter, he throws very few grenades, and he's even flashing for himself. Sees a Bit. And the other thing is his aim is so good. He multis, like the easy multi you can visualize in your head, like, oh, I peek the right side pillar, then the left side pillar, and the right side pillar, I get the kills. And you get 2 out of 3 kills in reality. Dexter gets 3 out of 3 very consistently. His op is like a magnet. So his aim meets his bravado, I think, a lot of the time. The year round, which is why we're talking about it here as number 19. So yeah, when Na'Vi slow play you, this is how they catch you into making that bad rotation. By the way, Dexter's stepping on top of a doorstep right here to just get a little extra height so he can see down the ramp just a little bit further. It's all about the little advantages, okay? Little bit of advantage here. Looking to view his teammates clearing things out. They could be sitting on the ramp still, of course, so he's waiting for that, but this round's done. Okay, let's keep going. Op in hand. And see that when he plays, right? When he plays here, he's playing here. He's not playing here, holding the exact same angle. Smoke came down before him. Dexter was ready to shoot. Then he's ready to move. And he's ready to shoot again. But what he's not ready to do is shoot, get smoked out, rotate around, right? That's the difference between you and Dexter. Not me, of course. I always commit. But you and Dexter. I watch all his demos, so I know better. See, this is Dexter's worst nightmare. He hears a smoke that he's not close to. He hates this. And it can be a gift and a curse, right? It can be like his folly is the thing that he needs to maybe work on. You don't want to be known for something too heavily, because then it actually means that like you could be exploited. It means you're too obvious, right? Like when Robs got known as like the lurker, it's like some people couldn't even name another lurker because it was just Robs. It was actually kind of a negative thing, because it just meant that like he was also accentuating the flaws and the one-dimensionality, one-dimensionality. Oh, they win. Okay. No, they don't win. All right. He was kind of highlighting how one-dimensional you can look if you don't add variety to like your timings and how fast you play sometimes, even though you're a lurker, that kind of thing. So, okay. Here it is again. I'm telling you right now, Dexter's worst nightmare. How many operas do you see playing here? How little do we see Dexter playing here? Let's see how he responds. He wants to get close. See, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. He doesn't want to sit out there. He never does. He gets inside. Teammates putting pressure inside. 1 for 1. Perfect. 4v3. I love this. Let's see if this heats up even more. I really want the round to come to him. Could be tucked on the right. Let's see if he clears it. It's unlikely, but this spot's nice just because even if they take the B site, you can chill here. There's a timing where they could literally walk through the site and flank him, so I think he will turn at some point, even though it's unlikely. Oh, there it is. The exec comes in. He's waiting for the cave split. He's calling for his teammates as well. You can see they're moving around his comms. Trying to safely, though. And that one's for free. And how do we get more? How do we get more? He's trying to get this started early. He knows he could get flanked as well. So this is a smart smoke because it also... This also draws... So SDY is going to hear the smoke, right? And he might be looking for this rotation, but maybe not. And he might now think to go back. He might be like seeing if this is some kind of fake. Let's see if SDY catches that. Oh, bit. Grabs his... SDY... There it is. The SDY comes up to the smoke and then flanks him. That's because Dexter smoked it out, made it seem like his teammate couldn't be there. It's not like 5 head, but it's 4.5 head. Lots of ops. Okay, this spot right here, it's underneath flashbangs, which is the big one, so... Oh, the second one came out late. He didn't commit to that. So that's the... I don't exactly know what happened there, but he stepped away from the action for a second. He had the right idea. He could have been right there in front of the flashes, but he was a bit too far back. And then, even though he kind of dodged it, he didn't come back for the fight. He wasn't close enough to dodge the second flash. Okay. Lots of ops this game. Double smoke inside of the window. I'm telling you right now, Dexter doesn't like these positions. I'm telling you. He's going to try to find a way to, like, go into elbow or get really lodged in there. But he needs someone... His teammate's like, please, someone watch long for me. He says, screw it. I'm not going to watch long. I'm going to... Let's go clear out B. How about that instead? Okay, well, they kind of do. And now they're really overstaffed on this side of the map. I guess with the kill they got, they still have a reason to believe it'll still end up this way. Again, he's up here on the doorstep, and that's that little higher, deeper angle. Op again in this round. Ops can play off rifles so well. You can see on the right and left side of his scope, and a rifle can play on that wall. The op has a great angle here, and it can also go back to fight the B stairs or the B banana with a very strong angle with two sides of the pillar as well. Such a good position to have an op in on CT side of Ancient, especially considering the rifle support. let's call it these positions outposts, like the one that Neofrag is in right now. Outpost. Hard to dislodge you from. Very strong angle. Usually it's like a one and done, but with utility, it can be way more. You see the smoke. See how far back he goes. He's looking for this doorstep again. Quite a boring map. Oh, wow. Nice shots. Wow. Okay. He's not getting that much counterplay, but as soon as he can see something, he's getting a great shot off. So he doesn't have enough health. In this play, he was going to go try to peek B. But he doesn't have enough health to do that, so he's going to go back. I know he's just watching this so his teammate can come back. Maybe he's going to try to leave and go back to the B site again like he did previously. Or maybe they hold and wait with nothing else that they have to worry about. Looks like his teammates are opting to clean out B in this round. We'll see one back there. And they lose one as well. Okay, so this creates for an interesting situation. Let's see what the adjustment here is from Dexter. Well, Bit dies. Okay. Crazy cave smoke right there. Oh, that's an easy shot. Straight over the bow. Over the bow. How does that saying go? Over the bow. Not much of a sailor. Wow, Navi really slow playing this one. You missed this doorway? So does Dexter. That gave him a free one just with that smoke. Open that up. So last rounds, op like almost every single round, gotta say. Even like in a close game like this, surprised at how many times Dexter has had his gun of choice. First time he's starting Donut. And it's winning one. And you see, again, I mean, it doesn't look that committed. It is, okay? They have elbow smoke, so that's the big one. Electronic giving him this kill because they have elbow smoked. It's unlikely someone actually walks through this. There could be a CT here. There could be one here. There could be one here holding. You don't really want to walk through that smoke. So Dexter is just using the advantage of having elbow smoked to hold this angle while it's up. And in this spot, you're just waiting for a mistake. And Electronic makes that mistake. So, yeah. But that's a version of an angle where if there wasn't a smoke there, an elbow, you couldn't take it. But it's the committed kind of position that wins you rounds. That allows you to get kills versus good players. To go a little bit deeper than most. Well, this could be heard by Bit. So he's cut off. But he has two teammates on the right side. He's in a better spot. He would like to be here, and his teammates actually watching the cross as well. They're kind of overlapped, honestly. We'll see what happens. I think Navi should use this time to kind of reorganize. And Fiku takes him out. So, okay, now actually Dexter can speed up a bit and either clear out mid or go back to just spot A. He saw one. And that's just it. That's a wrap. So the 9 rounds straight up. And Navi, they gave him hell. They made it really hard to get into that game. And Dexter still came out as one of the top performers. Ended plus 37 to the Blast Spring Final in Lisbon on LAN. A huge tournament. It was his debut event, actually, for OG. And it shocked the world. It was really kind of like, wow, he does have what it takes. So Dexter, for me, unreal consistency. Not all the opportunities. Not the reason that they got eliminated from their big games. Played well on LAN. Played well versus top teams in the games that I saw. A guy who I think was a reason that OG had any shine this year. Like a big reason. Not the only reason. And I think an opera that really showed how quickly you can play at the top level, if that makes sense. Even with the minimal amount of experience that he had. He's been on the radar, of course, even on our channel for a couple of years. Yeah, so he's not just some random talent, that's for sure. But it's a different story to be an up-and-coming player and then to translate that quickly. So that's Dexter for you. My number 19 player of 2022, a very competitive list, very impressive stuff. And I think would have had even better stats and been deeper on this list with a better team that were just a higher up with less inexperienced players. I honestly think that. So that's why he's on the list for me. Hope you enjoyed it.